What if everything you've ever heard about Ramadan is only the surface of an immense spiritual ocean? What if the true power of this sacred month has been quietly preserved by mystics while most of the world sees only fasting and rituals? What if the original essence of Ramadan was never meant to be confined to a single faith, but intended as a universal gateway to higher consciousness? For centuries, Ramadan has been recognized as a time of abstinence from dawn until sunset, an act of devotion for millions worldwide. Yet beneath the visible practice lies a hidden dimension, a deep well of esoteric insight, an energetic recalibration that not only cleanses the body but also rewires the mind and spirit. This is the mysterious power of Ramadan. Every spiritualist must know this. And once you open this door, the way you perceive the world, indeed, the way you perceive yourself, may never be the same. Unraveling the layers, beyond the crescent moon, Ramadan is typically linked to the Islamic lunar calendar. The crescent moon signals its start, yet if you probe deeper, you'll find parallels in ancient civilizations that also observed fasting cycles tied to the lunar phases. Whether in Christian Lent, Jewish Yom Kippur, or even certain Egyptian and Babylonian rites, the practice of withdrawing from food and certain earthly pleasures for a set period has long been a tool for spiritual refinement. But here's the difference: Ramadan is unique in its collective focus. Entire communities simultaneously direct their mental, emotional, and spiritual energies toward purification and connection. It's as if an energetic grid lights up across regions of the world, each fasting individual contributing to a shared field of heightened vibration. For esoteric practitioners, this synergy amplifies the results of meditation, prayer, and intention setting far beyond what one might achieve alone. Fasting as an alchemical process. Modern health gurus hail intermittent fasting for its physical benefits: fat burning, cell rejuvenation, detoxification. But the ancients, including the spiritual teachers who shaped Ramadan, understood fasting in a more profound sense, as a form of internal alchemy. Just as an alchemist seeks to transmute base metals into gold, fasting transmuted the base desires of the human ego into refined spiritual awareness. Purification, by giving the digestive system a reprieve, energy that's usually spent processing food becomes available for mental clarity and heightened consciousness. This shift creates an internal stillness, making it easier to sense the subtler aspects of reality, something mystics from various cultures have attested to throughout history. Willpower. Successful fasting demands self-control, an exercise in mental discipline that can transform your daily habits and rewire your unconscious impulses. Once the mind realizes it can master cravings, a gateway opens for greater feats of discipline and inner strength. Energetic release. Many spiritual traditions emphasize that food carries not just calories but also vibrations. Fasting allows old emotional energies tied to consumption, stress eating, boredom snacking, addictive patterns, to rise to the surface and be released, much like dredging a riverbed to clear out accumulated silt. It's no coincidence that Ramadan's daily fast ends with dates and water, foods believed in many cultures to have purifying qualities, gentle on the digestive system yet nourishing enough to restore vitality without abrupt shock. The historical roots, more ancient than you think. While Ramadan is primarily associated with Islam, there's evidence to suggest that the concept of a sacred fasting month, aligned with the lunar cycle, predates Islam, weaving into a tapestry of older Semitic, Middle Eastern, and even pre-Abrahamic rites. Archaeological findings hint at communal fasts tied to certain lunar months or seasonal transitions. Over centuries, these ancient customs converged, evolved, and eventually found their crystallized form in Ramadan. Pre-Islamic Arabia, historical texts indicate that certain tribes observed voluntary fasts to honor their deities or to mark significant celestial events. When Islam emerged, it refined and reoriented these fasting practices around a unified spiritual framework. Mystery schools influence. Scholars of comparative religion note that some aspects of Ramadan's introspective dimension bear resemblance to the mystery schools of the Eastern Mediterranean and Egypt, where initiates underwent purification rituals before receiving esoteric teachings. Hebrew and Christian Lent, though distinct today, Lent once involved more rigorous abstention. The overlap in timing and purpose, self-purification, repentance, heightened devotion, suggests a shared root in ancient Near Eastern spirituality, possibly pointing to an older mother tradition from which these practices sprang. The more you delve into this lineage, the clearer it becomes. fasting as a method for spiritual elevation is no random invention. It's a potent piece of an ancient puzzle, one that wise teachers and prophets consistently employ to shatter the illusions of the material plane and open doorways to the divine. Ramadan as a portal, tapping into collective consciousness. One of the most compelling esoteric aspects of Ramadan is the collective energy field generated when millions of people concentrate on the same spiritual goal. Fasting isn't an isolated act, it's a shared experience, often accompanied by communal prayers called Taraweeh after the evening meal, iftar. In these gatherings, participants recite or listen to the recitation of sacred texts, saturating the environment with vibrational frequencies believed to uplift the soul. This phenomenon mirrors what some call the 100th monkey effect, the idea that when a critical mass of individuals adopt a certain pattern, it becomes easier for others to tune in or learn it. During Ramadan, the threshold of focused intention might be reached on a mass scale, creating waves of spiritual resonance that permeate the global psyche, even among those who aren't actively fasting. Resonance and entraining frequencies. If we consider each individual as a vibrational being, a concept echoed in quantum and metaphysical theories, then collective fasting, prayer, and mindful reflection set a dominant frequency. People attuned to this field may experience heightened empathy or compassion, feeling more spiritually connected to others and the planet. Deeper insight during meditation or prayer, as though an unseen current is amplifying their focus. Increased synchronicities or coincidences, pointing to an underlying energetic alignment that transcends cultural and religious boundaries. Far from being superstition, this concept aligns with ongoing research into group meditation or prayer events that record lower crime rates or other positive shifts in collective human behavior. The hidden dimension, more than just food restriction. While the public face of Ramadan focuses on not eating or drinking from dawn to sunset, in esoteric circles, it's believed that true fasting extends beyond physical abstinence. It includes fasting of the tongue, avoiding gossip, lies, or hurtful speech, thereby purifying the vibrational output of one's words. Fasting of the mind, monitoring thoughts to prevent negative or harmful patterns from contaminating one's mental field, a form of ongoing mindfulness that fosters inner peace. Fasting of the heart, releasing grudges, envy, or emotional entanglements that keep one locked in lower frequencies, thus opening the heart to divine love and empathy. This multi-layered fasting reveals Ramadan's deeper purpose. Total realignment with one's higher nature. After all, restricting physical nourishment for a few hours is only the first step. It's the inner transformations, shifting habits of mind, emotion, and spirit that truly elevate a person. Night of Power. The esoteric significance of Laylat al-Qadr within Ramadan lies a night considered more spiritually potent than any other in the entire year, Laylat al-Qadr, the Night of Power or Night of Destiny. Traditionally believed to occur in the last 10 days of the month, it is described in Islamic teachings as a time when the gates of heaven open, angels descend, and blessings are multiplied exponentially. But the layers run deeper than pious folklore. Esoteric interpretations suggest dimensional gateway. Some mystics refer to Laylat al-Qadr as a dimensional rift, a moment when the veil separating physical and spiritual planes wears thin. In such moments, profound insights or revelations can flood into the soul. Manifestation vortex. If one focuses on prayer or meditation with pure intention during this window, the intentions can ripple outward into the unseen, catalyzing rapid manifestations or life changes. Quantum shift. Modern spiritualists might label this phenomenon a quantum shift, where the alignment of collective fasting, historical tradition, and cosmic timing merges to create a powerful energetic field. Practitioners tapping into it could experience quantum leaps in personal growth or psychic abilities. Whether you view it through the lens of Islamic tradition, universal mysticism, or cutting-edge consciousness theories, Laylat al-Qadr epitomizes Ramadan's potential to bridge worlds, the mundane and the metaphysical, the temporal and the eternal. Why has this knowledge remained hidden? If Ramadan is indeed such a profound spiritual tool, why aren't more people aware of its esoteric depths? Part of the reason lies in organized religious systems that, over centuries, naturally formalized rituals to maintain doctrinal unity. The broader a practice's reach, the more standardized and simplified it often becomes. Nuanced mysteries and advanced teachings, once reserved for initiates, frequently get buried beneath the surface routines. Another factor is the modern world's tendency toward materialism, an outlook that dismisses intangible experiences and undervalues inner transformation. The subtle energetic shifts that Ramadan can ignite aren't easily measured or commercialized. Consequently, they rarely dominate headlines or pop culture narratives. In addition, many devout practitioners themselves might be content with the mainstream understanding. For them, fasting is an act of faith, and delving into deeper spiritual science might seem unnecessary or even controversial. Thus, the more transcendent aspects remain in the realm of a select few who hunger for mystical insight. Yet the tide may be turning. As society grapples with ecological crises, mental health challenges, and a collective sense of existential drift, the hunger for authentic spiritual practices has grown. People from diverse backgrounds are beginning to question the stories they've been told, re-examining the value of ancient traditions. In this process, Ramadan's hidden dimension can no longer be easily dismissed or concealed. Ramadan and the law of attraction, the missing link in contemporary spirituality. The law of attraction teaches that like attracts like, our thoughts and emotional states shape our reality. Critics argue that this concept, in popular culture, has become oversimplified. Just visualize what you want and it appears. The ancient approach, including what underpins Ramadan, is far more holistic. Consider how fasting molds the soul's internal state, disruption of routine. By altering the daily rhythm, we snap out of autopilot. This disruption fosters conscious awareness, making each moment a potential act of intention. Mental purification, when we refrain from negative talk or harmful emotions, our vibrational field becomes cleaner. We resonate at a frequency more likely to draw uplifting circumstances. Elevated collective field. During Ramadan, one's personal transformation is amplified by millions of other practitioners doing the same work. This synergy can accelerate changes in personal reality, forging a powerful link between inner state and outer manifestation. For some, Ramadan can then become a supercharged environment for applying the law of attraction, not through mere daydreaming, but via focused effort, community resonance, and aligned action in harmony with cosmic principles. The impact on body, mind, and spirit beyond spiritual theory. Ramadan exerts a tangible effect on all layers of our being. Body, fasting can boost metabolism and enhance cellular repair. Ancient healers believed that during periods of minimal caloric intake, the body channels its energy into detoxifying and optimizing internal processes. Mind, mental clarity often increases, especially in the later stages of a fast, as the constant pull of appetite diminishes. People report sharper focus, more vivid dreams, and even heightened creativity. Spirit, countless mystics and everyday practitioners alike describe a sense of closeness to the divine, a purity of heart, and a peacefulness that's difficult to replicate outside the fasting environment. These states aren't fleeting emotional highs, they can deeply transform a person's worldview long after Ramadan ends. The synergy of these effects acts like a portal, a threshold that stands open for a limited time, inviting participants to step across and glimpse what life can be when body, mind, and soul are synchronized for higher alignment. The unspoken sacrifices, why it's not for everyone as elevated as it sounds. Ramadan's demands aren't trivial. Observing the fast from dawn to sunset across a month is challenging enough. Adding deeper spiritual work, monitoring one's words, thoughts, and emotions, intensifies the demand. Not everyone can or will embrace such an undertaking, and that's okay. True spiritual evolution can't be forced. Indeed, in certain traditional contexts, those who are elderly, ill, pregnant, or traveling are exempt from fasting, acknowledging practical realities that might endanger health. This flexible approach underscores the principle that authentic spirituality must accommodate compassion over rigid legality. For those who choose to engage wholeheartedly, however, Ramadan's challenges are exactly what refine the soul. Just as pressure transforms carbon into diamond, the tension between your lower desires and higher ideals can spark an inner metamorphosis, but only if you commit to the process with genuine sincerity. We've just begun peeling back the layers of Ramadan's mysterious power, exposing how it intersects with centuries of spiritual wisdom, from alchemical fasting to collective consciousness, from cosmic alignments to personal manifestations. In the next installment, we'll dive even deeper, exploring Ramadan's cosmic timing, lesser-known practices to maximize the month's energetic potential, and the interplay of global energies that come into alignment during this sacred period. Stay with us, because the revelations don't end here. What if Ramadan is more than just a religious duty? What if it's a key that unlocks the next stage in humanity's spiritual evolution, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those brave enough to open the door? But here's the real question lurking beneath the surface. If Ramadan holds such transformative power, why has so much of its deeper meaning been obscured or outright hidden? The simple explanation might be that people got complacent, or that centuries of tradition inevitably watered down original teachings. Yet the full story may be darker and more complex. Why this knowledge remained hidden? Consolidation of power. Whenever a spiritual practice can independently empower large numbers of people, there's a risk that it undermines established hierarchies. Think about it: if entire populations learn to harness fasting for self-mastery, raise their vibration, and connect directly to the divine, they become less dependent on external authorities, whether religious institutions, political systems, or consumer-driven markets. Historically, power structures thrived by controlling the narrative, offering official interpretations while sidelining more advanced or subversive teachings. Ramadan was no exception. Esoteric versus exoteric knowledge. In many spiritual traditions, there's a split between exoteric teachings, the outer, publicly sanctioned versions, and esoteric teachings, the inner, deeply transformative practices reserved for initiates. Over centuries, exoteric Ramadan focused on the rules, when to start and end the fast, what breaks it, etc., while the esoteric dimension, exploring the multi-layered fasting of mind, tongue, and spirit, slipped into obscurity. As more people conformed to communal norms, fewer guardians remained for the mystical core. Fear of misuse. Some mystics believed that unleashing powerful techniques, like collective fasting amplified by precise cosmic timing, carried the risk of misuse by those seeking personal gain or destructive ends. By keeping certain energetic practices veiled, the reasoning went, only the truly dedicated would invest the time and effort to discover them. Hence, scattered hints remain across mystical commentaries, anecdotal testimonies, and coded references, forming a puzzle that only the sincerely curious piece together. Cultural and political turbulence. The broader region from which Ramadan arose, spanning the Middle East and beyond, endured waves of colonialism, invasions, and ideological upheavals. In times of turmoil, preserving core spiritual wisdom often took second place to basic survival. Libraries were burned, scholars persecuted, and minority sects forced underground. In this chaos, unorthodox commentaries on Ramadan's deeper spiritual science vanished, leaving behind mainstream religious guidelines as the primary source. Modern materialism. As modern global culture embraced materialism, the intangible realms of consciousness, fasting as alchemy, group resonance, energy fields, were brushed off as unscientific or irrelevant. Even those practicing Ramadan year after year might never suspect the deeper spiritual engineering at work. The month became a test of personal discipline or a cherished family tradition, while the cosmic significance lay dormant beneath layers of routine and commercialization. Possible conspiracies and cosmic alignments. Could there be even more hidden layers? Some fringe scholars and metaphysical explorers suggest that Ramadan coincides with certain cosmic windows, periods when solar, lunar, and planetary energies align to enhance spiritual work. They argue that these alignments weren't just happenstance, but deliberately chosen by divine design or guided by celestial knowledge passed down from ancient star-watching civilizations. Lunar magnetism. During Ramadan, the moon phase is meticulously observed. Ancient astronomers understood that the moon's gravitational pull didn't just affect the tides, but also subtle electromagnetic fields that can influence brain waves, emotional states, and overall human behavior. It's no coincidence that stable fasting rhythms coincide with the waxing and waning of lunar cycles. Solar gateways. Depending on the year, Ramadan can drift across different seasons due to the lunar calendar. Some esoteric traditions claim that solar-lunar portals are periodically open, intensifying the synergy between the sun's life-giving energy and the moon's reflective properties. Fasting during these times, they say, is like plugging yourself into a cosmic circuit for spiritual recharging. Stellar alignments. Few speak of it openly, but certain star systems, like the Pleiades or Sirius, have played crucial roles in mystical lore from ancient Egypt to Sufi cosmology. Some believe that Ramadan was deliberately positioned so that on particular nights, starlight merges with the moon's reflective aura, creating an astral environment especially conducive to revelation or even out-of-body experiences. Skeptics dismiss these ideas as romantic speculation, yet they persist in corners of the spiritual underground, whispered by mystics who see patterns where others see chaos. For them, Ramadan is an orchestration of cosmic forces, a grand spiritual symphony that, when properly harnessed, can catapult one's consciousness to levels unimaginable in mundane life. Hidden guardians, Sufi orders, hermetic thinkers, and secret societies. Another unpredictable thread emerges when we consider the role of mystical orders, particularly Sufi fraternities, within the Islamic world. Sufism, often described as the heart of Islam, has long nurtured contemplatives and esoteric philosophers who probe Ramadan's deeper layers. Sufi whirling and fasting, in some orders, whirling ceremonies, sema, or dhikr, remembrance, intensify during Ramadan, merging the physical rigors of fasting with states of transcendent ecstasy. Through repetitive chanting of sacred names, participants aim to lose themselves in divine presence, accelerating the spiritual metamorphosis the fast initiates. Symbolic poetry, Sufi poets like Rumi, Hafiz, and Ibn Arabi filled their verses with references to longing, emptiness, and union, concepts that mirror Ramadan's ethos of emptying the self to be filled with higher love. Hidden in their metaphors are allusions to cosmic secrets, layered meanings that unravel only for those prepared to read between the lines. Cross-pollination with other esoteric groups. Intriguingly, historical records show that certain Sufis interacted with Christian mystics, Jewish Kabbalists, and even travelers from Eastern spiritual lineages. It's possible that in private dialogues, they shared techniques or insights related to fasting, breathwork, and contemplation, forging an undercurrent of universal mysticism that defied political or religious boundaries. Some conspiracy theorists push this narrative even further, insinuating that secret societies, like certain Masonic lodges or offshoot Hermetic circles, covertly studied Ramadan's structure, adopting elements of the fasting discipline for their own inner alchemy. These groups, it's claimed, recognized that a communal fast timed to lunar cycles could harness group intent for potent magical or psychic outcomes. Whether these rumors hold water or not, they add another layer of intrigue to the question: who really benefits from understanding Ramadan's hidden power, and who might fear its full revelation? The commercial distraction, modern twist, or deliberate diversion? If you travel today to regions where Ramadan is widely observed, you'll notice a paradox. While it's a time of fasting, there is also a significant uptick in consumer culture after sunset. Festive markets, lavish iftar spreads, nighttime entertainment. It's as if the day's discipline is followed by a nighttime carnival of indulgence. Could this be an organic cultural evolution, or is there a more systemic pattern at play? Critics argue that an increasingly commercial Ramadan siphons off the deeper spiritual potential. Big brands roll out Ramadan sales, phone carriers offer special data packages, restaurants push iftar deals, and entertainment channels release high-profile TV dramas. Instead of turning within, many people turn to shopping or binge-watching, effectively dampening the transformative momentum built through fasting. In this sense, Ramadan's nighttime consumer culture may act like a pressure valve, ensuring that the energy generated by collective spiritual focus is diffused rather than crystallized into a mass awakening. It might not be a grand conspiracy, but it's undeniably convenient for any status quo that relies on maintaining a docile, consumption-driven populace. After all, a population that truly grasps the power of conscious fasting and collective prayer might be less swayed by marketing, less addicted to superficial entertainment, and more inclined to question social or economic norms. A call to the unpredictable seeker. So now you see that Ramadan, in its publicly accessible form, is already remarkable, an annual spiritual event that fosters empathy, self-control, and devotion. But beneath that surface lies a labyrinth of possibilities, from cosmic alignments to conspiracies of concealment, from Sufi revelations to modern commercial diversions. It's unpredictable because you are the deciding factor. Your level of engagement, your willingness to probe deeper, can either unlock Ramadan's greatest secrets or leave them sleeping in the shadows. This is your invitation to become a detective of the unseen, to question every story told and every narrative sold. Ask why Ramadan's energies ramp up in the last 10 nights. Delve into the possible astral significance of Laylat ul-Qadr beyond the standard religious commentaries. Reflect on how your personal fast, whether you choose to observe it in a traditional sense or adapt it for your own spiritual practice, can shake the foundations of your inner world. Notice how your environment reacts. Do your friends or family support deeper exploration, or do they resist it? Is the broader culture nudging you to treat Ramadan as a social feast, or is there space for going inward? In this swirling uncertainty, there's one undeniable truth: spiritual knowledge withheld is never truly lost. It waits in dormant symbols, half-forgotten texts, and the living rituals performed by millions who might not even suspect the magnitude of what they hold. Ramadan is a living relic of a world that once recognized fasting as a portal to the divine, a cosmic handshake between human intention and universal energy. From the start, we've peeled back layer after layer, exposing Ramadan's cosmic alignments, collective consciousness, and the often overlooked spiritual engineering hidden within its simple framework of daily fasting. Now, as we stand on the threshold of understanding, the question remains: what do we do with this knowledge? And perhaps more importantly, how can we allow this wisdom to reshape our lives, long after the crescent moon has waned? The last 10 nights, a deepening of the journey in many cultures, the culmination of an initiatory process takes place just before its official end, when the seeker is either tested, blessed with insight, or given both. Ramadan is no different. The final 10 nights, with their famed night of power, Laylat al-Qadr, are said to hold blessings greater than 1,000 months combined. During these nights, countless mystics, scholars, and everyday believers turn inward with renewed fervor, reciting sacred texts, performing late-night devotions, and chasing ephemeral glimpses of otherworldly light. Some report vivid dreams that feel more real than waking life, others experience surges of empathy and an unshakable sense of unity with every living being. Beyond dogma, these nights invite you to sense the subtle shift in energetic frequency, a crescendo of spiritual momentum poised to break open the heart. Glimpses of the miraculous, those willing to part the veil often speak of extraordinary phenomena: spontaneous healings, physical ailments mysteriously subside, emotional wounds begin to mend without external intervention. It's as if the entire body resonates with a higher vibration, facilitating natural restoration. Visions and insights, under the hush of night, suppressed memories or emotions float to the surface. Deeper still, certain individuals claim to receive symbolic visions or direct downloads of knowledge, moments that can forever shift their perception of existence. Heightened psychic sensitivity. Even pragmatic minds may notice uncanny coincidences, thinking of an old friend only to get a call from them moments later, or stumbling upon profound synchronicities. The boundary between thought and reality thins, hinting at a universal tapestry woven with luminous threads. Skeptics dismiss these as emotional highs or placebo effects. But ask those who've tasted the intangible, and they'll tell you something real, something beyond conventional explanation, stirs in these nights. Navigating light and shadow, no profound spiritual opening comes without an equally intense confrontation with one's own shadow. As energies spike, unresolved tensions can surface with alarming clarity. People may find themselves grappling with old grudges, hidden fears, or deeply ingrained habits that resist the purity Ramadan seeks to instill. Purge of the subconscious, like a controlled burn that makes way for new growth, these last nights can scorch attachments and illusions, leaving the seeker raw but poised for rebirth. Spiritual warfare. In some traditions, it's believed that higher energies attract the notice of darker forces, be they metaphorical or literal. Participants might face surging doubts or negative temptations that feel stronger than usual. It's a final gauntlet, a test of resolve that ensures any breakthrough is genuinely earned. Surrender versus struggle. The key often lies not in fighting negativity head-on, but in willingly offering it up, like placing the ugliest weeds on an altar, trusting the divine presence to transmute them into fertile soil for growth. Carrying Ramadan's light beyond its duration. As the final days pass, a celebratory mood takes hold. Families gather for communal feasts, new clothes are purchased, and gifts are exchanged. This festival, known as Eid al-Fitr, marks the official completion of the fast. Yet the deeper transformation doesn't have to be shelved with the prayer mats and decorations. Ramadan's treasure trove of lessons can infuse every aspect of life moving forward: heightened discipline, the ability to say no to cravings, to manage time for prayer or meditation, and to keep the mind centered on higher goals can persist well after Ramadan's conclusion. Channel that self-control into other endeavors, creative projects, career ambitions, or personal development. Connected communities, the collective synergy of fasting together, praying together, and breaking bread together can forge lifelong bonds. Carrying that communal spirit onward means nurturing empathy, shared responsibility, and compassion in everyday interactions. Elevated consciousness, a month of mindful practice acts like a profound reset button for the soul. The heart remains receptive to subtle frequencies, the mind stays alert to synchronicities, and the spirit craves purposeful alignment with cosmic rhythms. Confronting skepticism one last time even at the close of this journey, some will wave off these notions. They'll claim the hidden sides of Ramadan are imaginary, that it's simply about not eating or drinking, or that any ephemeral sense of magic dissolves once normal schedules resume. But for those who've glimpsed the intangible, the skeptic's disbelief does little to erase lived experiences. The ephemeral can be the most authentic dimension of our existence, like the wind, invisible yet undeniably real. In a world often fixated on the physical and measurable, Ramadan's emphasis on intangible, unquantifiable truth stands as a quiet challenge to entrenched materialism. It beckons us to consider that no matter how confident we are in the constructs of modern life, entire realms of reality remain hidden beneath the surface. The grand finale, stepping through the threshold, and so, we reach the conclusion of our exploration, a tapestry woven from threads of ancient wisdom, collective energies, and personal awakenings. Ramadan's power lies not in external observance alone, but in the alchemy that unfolds when disciplined practice meets open-hearted surrender. The fast may end, but the energetic seed it plants can germinate far beyond these lunar days. Who knows what miracles, revelations, or awakenings await once you realize this month's potential is not confined to a single season. When next year's crescent moon appears, or whenever you choose to fast for reasons beyond mere tradition, you'll remember these hidden layers. You'll sense that each abstention from physical nourishment opens a new channel for spiritual sustenance. You'll feel the collective resonance humming beneath your feet, connecting you to countless souls engaged in a similar pursuit of inner illumination. Know this: no power, earthly or otherwise, can bury these truths forever. They've survived centuries of obscurity, abiding in the hearts of those who dare to see beyond the obvious. If you've read this far, take it as a call, a whisper from beyond, inviting you to carry Ramadan's luminous spark into the everyday world, kindling it into a blaze that warms not just your own life, but everyone around you.